The BIPOC Coach Collective proudly presents Elevate and Celebrate. This is a podcast to showcase our members, dive deeper into their journeys, and express who they are into the world. Our mission is to curate a brave and authentic space for coaches to connect and to elevate our voices globally in the coaching profession. Learn more about us at bipoccc.org. Your story matters, your voice matters. Let's start the show. Welcome to episodes 35 and 36 of Elevate and Celebrate. This is your Vice President, Alex Dumas here, and I combined these two, right, a 2-for-1 episode because I want to make this announcement once and for all that this is it. This is the finale. These are the last 2 episodes of this Elevate and Celebrate podcast series. As the host, producer, main brain behind the scenes on this thing, I just want to thank you for the years of putting in the work with this project, for the response, for the comments, for the likes, for the shares, for the guests who have appeared and blessed us with their knowledge, with their expertise, and their inspiration and encouragement. Now, I share all of that because as we head into 2026, a lot of different things have shifted for the collective. If you aren't aware of our history, of who we are, we came into existence in July 2020. Our founder, our president, Reem Labib Tyson, created this space, and it started off as just a networking space. And I don't mean that in a demeaning way, like it's just networking, but networking in the sense of coming together monthly, talking shop, having the space to just be amongst other peers, other members of the global majority. And that evolved into us creating a paid membership model, and that ran successfully for a couple of years. And we decided, with the time that we have, with our own family lives, our own businesses, and this being a volunteer project, that it was taken away from the work that we are doing with our clients, with potential clients, with associations, with whoever the impact we're trying to make, whatever we're up to doing. That was being interrupted. That wasn't allowing us to thrive in our best sense. So myself, Reem, and Gwen, we decided, you know what, it's time to sunset this. In terms of the website, in terms of the Slack channel, of all the things that have made us who we are, at least these different pieces. But we're talking behind the scenes, and we're going to let you know about what's to come moving forward. But for now, these are the final 2 episodes. And I got to admit, this is a little bit of a cheat because I recorded them already for a different series for the collective called Amplified. It was really a LinkedIn live series. So I'm taking those 2 recordings and sharing them on a mass scale for this month, to close out December. So you're going to hear one interview with my friend Jen Espinosa Goswami. She's a speaking coach. She's a professional speaker as well. And she is sharing how to leverage the stage to create more clients, to grow your business. And the last episode is with Žana Devine. She's a hospitality coach, someone who knows about service, somebody who knows how to train teams in the hospitality realm, about customer service, about client experience and client astonishment. So I think there's going to be something here for you, no matter which of these ladies that you choose to grab some nuggets from. I encourage you, sit back, have a pen, have a paper, grab some notes. This is the final time. This is the final ride, the final countdown. So from everything in here, I want to thank you for being a part of this journey. Thank you for allowing me to be your host and your guide through Elevate and Celebrate. It has been a pleasure. It's been a privilege as well, because this is what I do as a regular thing, is my natural, elevating people, celebrating people, and making sure that others are showcasing and you know your brilliance. So with all that said and done, thank you for tapping in. Hope you have a wonderful new year, and I'll see you on an upper stage. Stay blessed. All right, it's Alex Dumas here, Vice President of the BIPOC Coach Collective, and I have a very special guest with me for this version of Amplified, our LinkedIn live series, where we get to connect with other coaches, entrepreneurs, business leaders, thought leaders, influencers, people who are making a difference, who are changing the world one client at a time, one speech at a time, one presentation, one project, whatever you want to call it. We're here to impact and affect people. So I've got the queen of hospitality here, right? The queen of etiquette, as I'm gonna dub her. We have the wonderful, amazing Žana Devine. Žana, welcome to this program.
Wow, thank you. I'm so flattered about the introduction. Thanks you. I'm so honored to be here. Thanks for allowing me to speak on your platform. I'm truly grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So this is what I loved reading about you and what I've got to know about you over the course of these last couple months that we've been connected, that you're somebody who is, as I quote from your website, immersed in five-star service. And you have a really interesting background, having ties to Germany, right? German roots, as your parents, one you described as a powerhouse chef, and the other as a powerhouse entrepreneur who led top tier hospitality teams. So walk us through it real quick about that background and how that's influenced you as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so I mean, I was literally born into the world of hospitality. You know, my dad, he used to be a chef, and my mom, she ran a housekeeping team at a medium-sized hotel. So really, truly, if I wasn't at the hotel with my mom, then I was at the restaurant with my dad. And, it's kind of interesting because I feel like from both of my parents' background, I was able to see the world of hospitality from completely two points of views, which is mainly the back of the house, mainly like what happens behind the scenes, but also because they were working behind the scenes, I was able to see everything that then transpired in front of the house with
Yeah.
their, input. And so, yeah, that for me was really kind of like my honest stepping stone into everything, and I've never had a conversation with my parents where, we sit down and we're like, well, what is it that you want to do with your life? Because it just sort of happened that I stumbled into it, not even being forced or anything like that. It was just, this is really what I want to do. And from the first moment I was at the restaurant with my dad and walked into the hotel with my mom, I felt this is really something I want to maintain. It felt like home. So here
No,
we are.
yeah, I love hearing that. So I'm curious, right? These experiences as you put them, right? The back of the house to the front of the house. So this kind of is going to tie into the work you do now with coaching and speaking and consulting with organizations. But what do you see as like that difference when things go really well, things are running smoothly, the operation is pretty seamless from the back of the house, and then how it impacts and affects the front of the house versus those nights where nobody's getting anything right. Orders are being dropped, tempers are flaring, personalities are big, and there's a lot of strife, a lot of conflict, and how does that result in a memorable or infamous, a forgettable experience for a
Yeah.
consumer?
Yeah, I mean, it could really be both ways, but the focus here would always be to really act professional. It's like I was really trained to no matter what is happening in front, behind, in your own personal life, the minute you really step into the establishment that you chose to work for, is really the moment when you need to be professional enough to put your own personal situation completely to the side because no guest really that's not why they came to the hotel or the restaurant, right? They didn't come there to hear you be unhappy or for you to spread your personal situations like that is very unprofessional. And so I think it's really when we focus on just slowly the guest and why we're there, what we need to really do, all those little things kind of like fall behind. But yes, there is a lot of times really, really stressful situations,
Mhm.
especially behind the scenes, when we have like big banquet groups or we expect like a huge reservation bus with like, I don't know, 150 people and they all come at once and then they have a banquet at the same time an hour later, just after check-in, or like the breakfast cafe is so filled. Like I mean, there is times when it's really stressful, but I think, when we train our staff to really maintain calmness because everybody is on cue, right? And so this
Mhm.
is really where I come in, where I'm so amplifying on proper training, is because when everybody really is properly trained, even if it's a big hotel and every department has their own little outlet and their own procedure of how things are being executed, and then you merge that with the entire operation of the entire hotel, and you add in fantastic communication amongst the good, amongst the departments under each other, really there's nothing that actually can go wrong because everything is communicated. Everything is, it is on paper. Everybody knows what's happening to what time. Now, is that stressful? Absolutely, it's stressful because certain times it really depends on how did you do your job? Did everybody really execute? Because just because you're telling a team that that's the expectation, it doesn't mean that 30, 40, 50, 100 people in that same team are executing it the same way.
Yeah.
Because remember, they're bringing their own personal thing possibly to work, or they're dealing with their own personal life, which is completely okay to do. But this is really where good leadership comes in, where we check in with our staff, where we're being personable, where we have somewhat good connections with our staff that they feel safe enough to really come to us and say, like, hey, look, I know we have this really big situation at work today and this really big fancy banquet where we all need to be on cue, but like my cat is sick. I feel bad, like, or my mom or my dad, or you know what I mean? And so that's really where good leadership comes in, because at the end of the day, we all are humans. This isn't just a robot executing a task. This is real people working with real people. And I think when we put emphasis on that and we remember that we all are allowed to have a bad day, but yet we give grace and we give encouragement, I think every team member would appreciate that and take that as something to their heart and want to do a good job, because we took the time to really sit down and kind of like nurture that person in that moment. Because if they're having a hard time in their own private life, then that's just what real life is at the moment, and so the other part is we are running a business. So where is the middle line? Where do we find nice harmonious balance in that? But it is doable. It's absolutely doable if we just really focused on people matter. We matter. And so if we keep that in mind, not only staff, not only ownership, but also our staff and guests, like that's the whole, nobody can exist without the other link.
It's pretty important. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. I love
Mhm.
how this all kind of ties into what I already know about you, experience from you, right? These very interesting, I don't say buzzwords, but like just these things that I locked in on, right? The communication piece, the
Mhm.
leadership piece, making sure people are appreciated, making sure that people are acknowledged, that we are being human, personable, not just one stoic, robotic leader, get this done,
Mhm.
follow the word of the letter, but
Yeah.
allowing empathy, allowing some context for a performance, and also making sure that the 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 team, the staff that are hustling hard, that are working hard, that are going above and beyond, you really recognize, you go over the top for those people because they're the people that will be your champions at the end of the day. So
Right.
going on to this theme of like being champions, because that's what we call our community here with the BIPOC collective, our champions. So someone might be watching this thinking, well, how does hospitality relate to coaching? How does this relate to how I deliver a great customer experience so that one, I get referral business, and two, I get renewal business from this. So
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on that and some tips for to help a coach implement that in their business?
I think attentiveness in general, like I'm really big on teaching attentiveness in just general, because the more you are attentive to another human's needs, in this case, your client, right?
Mhm.
The more you get further, because this isn't just a one-time conversation and, oh, this is what you want me to do. And okay, then now I execute the task for you and then it's one and done. It doesn't have to be this way, because if you're being attentive to what they're saying and you're paying attention and you're listening good, you can gather so many personal information about that already in the first just intake, or in your first call, or in your first meeting with a client or with a guest. And if you want to maintain that, then that's really important for you to understand that this isn't just one time and this is done. This is a maintaining process. If you want to have your client stay with you, or maintain the client for a long term, then that requires a little bit more than just like, do you want to work with me? And here's my proposal and here's my contract and let's just make it happen. It's a little bit more than that. It's more engagement. It's more understanding where this person's coming from. It's you offering things that maybe are not your norm to offer, like you really taking the time and diving a little bit deeper, doing things that you normally wouldn't do, and I feel like, breaking out of the norm and just allowing yourself to be more creative. You don't have to do it anymore how you used to. I feel like the whole collective as a whole is in a very new era of really feeling like, does this resonate with me energetically? Like, does this connection that is in front of me resonate with me? And I don't necessarily believe anymore that people are after, or does this person have this in this degree? Does this person have this in this master? If they connect with somebody on a level, on a coaching level, and they understand that, they're being understood, I think that's a good baseline, and so maintaining is a great thing, like there's many things how we can maintain a good contact client, or just good contact. There's holidays that we can reach out to. We can ask personal questions about their life, when their children maybe have birthday, when their pets maybe are having whatever surgery that they shared with us in the call previously. We can reach out and ask, hey, how did the surgery go with your dog or your cat or whatever? It's those literally those little small details that will fundamentally make this client remember who you are as a person, right? Because it's not necessarily so much what you're selling them, but it's really how you make them feel. And so if you make somebody really feel welcome, and you really want to do a good thing for them because they matter to you as a human, then they will feel that. Like that energy is, you can't lie about it. You know what I mean? So I guess it's really up to everybody to really be either very transparent and be like, this is something I'm not able to do for you, or the other way, this is absolutely something I can do for you. But I think we're falling away from that, okay, that untransparency, that unauthentic being somebody or someone. I think we're falling away from that, and I'm happy with that, because we all are so amazing, unique creations, and there's only one of us everywhere. And so why not be us and ourselves versus trying to be someone just to fit in? Like, I think that fitting in part is really getting old, at least to me. And so it's like, I'm just, gonna train from my heart, because this is really in my heart. And for me, it doesn't matter if you're a hospitality owner, or if you run a candle shop, or if you run a brokerage. Like, it, to me, none of this matters. What matters to me is the outcome that we all benefit from. Like, you as the owner, you obviously want to make money. Your staff wants to feel safe and secure, and your clients, whoever you're working with or whoever your clients are, want to feel that they're getting something out of investing with you, into you, or from you, or however you want to see it. And so it's a triangle, right? And so when everybody wants to benefit, and everybody should benefit.
Yeah, and I love the triangle because it's equal size unless you start, you math nerds out there, and pardon me
Right.
if I called you nerds, but you math enthusiasts out there, you're like, well, this should be isosceles. Like, no, no.
Yeah.
Think about this simple triangle, one, two, three, right? Three
Right.
sides, and all of them feed into each other. The customer, the
Hmm.
guest, in this case, they want to have a good experience. I look at this like this with coaching, with hospitality, with blending these two worlds, or even professional speaking. If I'm on a stage, if I'm in front of a client, whether it's in person
Yeah.
or virtual, we both want the same thing. We both want to walk out from that half hour, that hour, feeling like,
Right.
wow, that was an amazing investment of my time. That was a great experience. Nobody comes to a restaurant, right? I have my favorite spot, me and my wife, and my family, we go to quite often out here in Raleigh. And it's just a different feeling when people are looking forward to seeing you, like, hey, Mr. Dumas, how you doing? Oh my
Mhm.
goodness,
Yeah.
we have your table here, right? It's just you feel
Yeah.
like on top of the world, like king of the castle, so to speak. And I love how you're able to break that down with these two words, attentiveness and authenticity.
Hmm.
Showing you who we are, being transparent, being vulnerable in some cases where where it makes sense, and also the intentiveness, like, hey, this person likes this. We don't need to ask if they're regulars, so to speak. Hey, we know how to treat them. We know how to curate an experience that feels like they've gone like you've gone above and beyond, right? You mentioned earlier about the energy it takes. Well, here's two things to think about, coaches, entrepreneurs, business leaders. The energy it takes to create a new client versus keep an existing one. Keep one that you love, keep one that you
Mhm.
love to do business with, they want to do business with you. Which one makes more sense, or at least is
Mhm.
more effective? It's something to
Mhm.
consider.
Yeah.
Now I'm off my soapbox and high horse, right? I got to get into like getting coaching mode. But I want to ask you, what is a memorable, whether it's positive or negative, wherever you want to label it, but what's one memorable experience you've had in the hospitality world? You're like, wow, this is a crazy story. This was a amazing moment in my career, whether it was something you wanted or didn't want. Like, anything come to mind?
I think just really when I had that feeling of really being welcomed and that warmth feeling of really walking somewhere in and being noticed right away, and just being greeted right away, and like everything was just smooth. Like there was no hiccup on anything, like just there's just no hiccups at all. But I do remember one specific restaurant, and I just shared this on another platform with someone, and it was wonderful because there's this one restaurant, and so in the winter when it's really cold, they have a fireplace in the back, and so inside the restaurant they have a beautiful fireplace. And so when the guests are ready to go home, they're bringing the coats that are hung up in the coat room. They're bringing the coats for each guest, and they warm it up at the fireplace, and then they put it on the guests before they walk out. And I think it's really this sounds like a small detail, but it's actually so far beyond. It's so far going the extra mile. But it's really those small gestures, going out of your box, going the extra mile. And you can practice this with your own clients. You don't have to be a restaurant owner, teaching this to your staff. You can teach this, yourself with your own clients. Like it's those small extra gestures that we do that really maybe nobody else does, and not doing it so, like you said earlier, everything has this and this and this, but more like do what you think is right. Like do what you feel. If you feel like you want to call your client right now and just check in and say, hey, I'm just wishing you a happy Monday today.
Mm.
And thank you for being my client, by the way. I so appreciate you. Thank you. Have a great day. Or, they I don't know, they've been a while your client. What is it going to hurt you to send them a $20 Starbucks card or any other gift card and just say, thank you, have coffee today on me. Thank you for being my client. Like all those little digital gift cards that we can send each other. Thank you to technology, all of that is possible, but like nobody really does those small little gestures, or like rewarding your staff. Like
Yeah.
if you have a good running staff and they really produce for you and they're kind to your people and they're kind to you and they're respecting your environment and respecting the tools that you're offering to them, what is it to you if you just give them a free bottle of wine or even a paid day off? What is that to you? Is this an investment? Absolutely, it's an investment, but will it come back to you? Because they will not forget that, because nobody does that. And so if we're starting really to do certain things that we really truly mean from our heart, not to be manipulative, but to really mean it from your heart, you know, because you simply can, then why don't you just do that? Like it's really about supporting everybody's dream and supporting everybody's journey, and it could be from me to you as my client, it could be from you to me being your boss and you working for me, it could be from me to you, my neighbor, it could be from anybody to anybody. It's really about how do we understand that gaining new clients and maintaining our clients actually is the same road. It really is the same road, is really you understanding how pure attentiveness really works.
Fair enough. So before we wrap this up, there's something I wanted to play with because as I was reading more
Mhm.
about you, I got this understanding that you are fluent in several different languages,
Yes.
or at least four from what I understood. So I'm curious, how would you say happy to serve you or something like that, right? Like in these different languages, like which languages, and then also, you know, if there's a way to translate, like, hey, I'm here to serve you, I'm here to help you.
I mean, German would be, es ist mir eine Ehre, dass ich heute mit Ihnen arbeiten darf. that's kind of like it's my absolute honor to work with you today.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and then in Serbian it's drago mi je da vas imam danas kao goste, baš mi je drago. That's kind of like, oh, I'm really appreciative that you're my guest today. Um, so I mean, I don't know, it's
No,
but
that's good enough. Listen, we want to get bilingual, international, and make sure that we can reach all the masses, hit all the audiences,
I know.
right?
I wish though I would speak Spanish though. Honestly, I that Spanish would be Spanish and Italian are really like my two dream languages, and I wish I would like master those. And I might just make it a point to really master those because like Italian is my most favorite language, but I feel like Spanish is so valuable
Yeah.
globally. Like if you speak Spanish globally, it can help you in any country, I feel like. So it's a good language to know in general.
Absolutely. So, John, I appreciate you. How can anyone watching this, listening to this, find out more about you? How can we connect with you online?
Yeah, thanks. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, Žana Devine. And I know my name is so unique. It's spelled Zana, but I'm sure there will be some link in this. You can connect with me on my website, zdhospitality.com. You can find me on Instagram, Žana Hospitality, or you can also just call Alex and he'll forward you to me.
Awesome. That's it. That's it. But appreciate you, John. It was really great to connect
Thank
with you.
you.
Glad to highlight you. We connected through Black Speakers Network. So shout out to Brian Olds and his community and your R&R Resilience podcast. So for
Yes,
anyone
thank
who's
you.
yeah, anyone who wants to check that episode out, tap in now. I think it's episode 30 on that platform, and you can stay tuned to see what else happens with the collective. All that said and done, see you next time. Stay blessed. Thanks for watching this episode. If you got value from this, please subscribe and leave a rating and review. And feel free to connect with us at bipoccc.org. See you next time.